Plotly is a Python library that's used to create some really visually attractive graphs and plots. We're going to get into a little bit of an introduction of how to go about using Plotly in this video. So let's go ahead and get started. So first we're going to open up Anaconda Navigator. And if you don't have it installed, it's free and easy to install. You can go ahead and go to Anaconda Nav and then download it from Anaconda's website on your local system. So getting back into Navigator, we're going to go ahead and open up Jupyter Notebook. I'm going to go ahead and put this somewhere. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and put it in this Documents tab. So I'm going to go ahead and go to New, Python 3 kernel, and let's go ahead and get started. So here in Jupyter, I'll go ahead and call this notebook something like Plotly. Oh, Plotly Fun. Great. One of the first things we want to do to use Plotly is import the package, sorry. Okay, great. There's a lot of different things you can do with Plotly, and we're actually going to go straight to the documentation to look at some examples. So for example, let's say we want to create a scatter plot. I've copied this code, and it's going to go ahead and create this nice scatter plot here. One of the reasons I like Plotly is that it's interactive. So for example, in this plot, as we hover each point, it'll tell you the X and Y position of each point, which is pretty sweet. You can also combine Plotly with things like NumPy and pandas to be able to import data or to be able to chart data from a data frame in pandas or something else using that NumPy. So as an example, I'm going to go ahead and download this jobs and salaries and data science dataset from Kaggle. Okay, great. So one thing we want to keep in mind is that wherever we save our data file, in this case, this jobs underscore in underscore data CSV, that is where we want to have our Plotly Jupyter Notebook file saved. You don't have to save in the same place, like you can save it somewhere else, but it's just easier for calling the directory if it's in the same place. So I'll go ahead and say up here, oh yeah, you know what? Oh, I'll import pandas real quick. And if you aren't aware, pandas is a really cool Python library for handling different data sets. It adds them as data frames, which is pretty sweet. So I'm going to do something real quick. pd read.csv jobs in data CSV as df. Let's go ahead and see what df looks like. Boom. So I did a few things here. I said df equals pd.read CSV. This is basically a pandas function for reading a CSV file, and then it's saving it as a data frame called df. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, that might be a little bit better. So, no, that's fine. This is fine. Okay, now we have our data frame here, and we can see that there's 9,000 rows and 12 columns. These are the different rows and columns here. So we can see that the top 5 rows are highlighted here, and then the bottom 5 rows are highlighted here. These dots just show, okay, there's a lot more data in between these points. But this isn't a pandas tutorial. Just wanted to use this to get some data for our Plotly stuff. So let's say we want to do a scatter plot of our different data science salaries. So we can say fig2 equals px scatter. So for our x, we can do something like this. We can do df, and then we can say, let's say we want the x axis to be salary. Something like that. Okay. And then maybe we want the y axis to be, let's say experience level. Let's just see what happens. One of the nice things about doing this is that if it doesn't work right, you can keep adjusting things. Oh, okay, cool. So this is just one attempt. We can continue iterating from here. What I wanted to do is put the salary on the x-axis and the experience level on the y-axis. And it makes sense that it's not continuous on the y-axis because there are only 4 experience levels. So we can see there's a lot of different salaries. And I'm kind of surprised that there's a $300,000 entry-level salary up here, but that's okay. Really interesting stuff. We can do a lot of other things too. Like let's say instead of this, we want to, and you know what? I'm actually just gonna copy this cell and then I'll paste it below. Okay. Let's say instead of that one, we want to do keep x-axis as the salary. And then for y-axis, what if we do something like salary in USD? Let's just see what that looks like. Is there an underscore? Salary. One thing you can do is just copy the name right here. Okay. Great. So yeah, it makes sense that there's a lot of one-to-one, but there are some where you can see that we can see that the salary is a little bit different from the salary in USD. So that's kind of interesting. Cool. Okay. What if we want to do a different type of plot? Well, we have a lot of options. So plot, we can just Google plot types in Plotly. And we can see there's a ton of different options to choose from. Things like different polar coordinate diagrams, pie charts, like more robust scatter plots, histograms, 2D histograms, a lot of really cool things. One thing I want to show off though is something like a 3D scatter plot. So what if we just try this out? So let's do 3D scatter. And as an example, we can pull up this iris data before using our own data. And check it out, it's pretty sweet. So this is essentially taking different data points from this iris data set that's kind of pre-built into this package, and it's actually plotting in a 3D coordinate system. So we have on the bottom sepal length, sepal width, oh, let me zoom out a little bit, okay. Petal width, and anytime you hover over one dot, it'll tell you the info for that specific point, which is pretty sweet. So what if we want to do this with our own data? Well, we can go ahead and do that. We would want to do like fig equals px.scatter 3D, and then we're going to go ahead and do something like this. So this is actually going to, I'm hesitating because this is kind of overriding our initial data frame. So I'm going to go ahead and resave this as df2. And then let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, sweet. Now let's go down here. Let's say df2. What this means is we're pulling the data from df2. And then if we say x equals, let's just see if this works, salary. And then let's do y equals, what would be a good one? Maybe employment type, company size. Yeah, sure, let's just do company size, just for fun. Company size. And then for z, we'll do, and I keep scrolling up. So one thing I can do is actually just add a cell down here. That way I don't have to keep scrolling up too much. Okay, great. Z equals, let's do experience level. Yeah, sure. Let's just see what that looks like. And then let's do fig.show. And then, cool, okay. So it's a little bit funky, but we can see that salary is right here. And it's interestingly going from the 0 being over here to the higher levels being over here. Then we have company size, small, medium, large, and then we have experience level. So yeah, it's a lot of interesting things. This could be maybe better displayed as a histogram or something else. But that's some cool stuff right there. Let's go ahead and take a look maybe at some other options we can do. So one thing that can be fun is doing something like a Choropleth map. So as an example, we can take one of these default ones. Let's take a look maybe at this one. So I'm just going to copy all this and let's see what that looks like. Might take a second. There might be an error. We'll see. Oh, okay, that worked. Yeah, one thing I like about the Plotly documentation is you can just open it up and have fun with it. Try out different things. There's so much you can do with it. We're actually going to not go into that many features. This is just more of an exploratory, just to show people, hey, like you can import your data, do a lot of fun stuff with it. One thing I want to mention too is everything on all the charts can be customized. The text, the look, different colors, everything can be customized. We're not going to get too much into that. This is really more introductory stuff. And we don't have to understand everything here. Really what's happening is all this stuff is getting the data, and then all this stuff is plotting the data in a Choropleth map. It's pretty sweet though, because you can zoom in and you can look at different areas, different counties, and be like, oh, okay, like what is the unemployment rate in this area? Or what's the unemployment rate here? You can do this not only with a US map, but you can do it with the world map. So if we zoom out, we can see this whole world. And if you have data for the world, you can add all that. So you can really do a ton with Plotly. Let me see, what's some other, I mean, there's so many cool things. I think that one other thing I definitely wanted to make sure to show though, is that you can do some different animations with things. So let's do animated scatter Plotly. Oh, that was a little bit ugly. But yeah, let's go ahead and actually just add this and I'll show this example. It's pretty cool because you can actually add your plot data and then animate it if you have maybe a time axis, something like that. So if we click play, we'll see that the different life expectancy and the GDP per capita change in different continents over time. So this is over a 55-year period. So let's go ahead and just click play. Let's see what happens. And it's pretty smooth. You can see things changing over time. And we can just do that again. Yep, so it goes back to the beginning. And you can see different circles growing or shrinking too. And that's not the only animated graph you can do. You can do a lot of other ones. You can do, for example, you want to do maybe, a moving point on a curve. We can just add this one real quick. Oh, if we go, let's see. Oh, okay. I didn't import the thing for Go, so I can do that real quick. I assumed it was Plotly Express, but no. Okay. Let's go ahead and just see what this does. Yeah, so this can be cool. Let's say you want to teach a math lesson. You want to teach something like derivatives, something. This can be a cool way to help you illustrate with a visual animation like, hey, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at different points over a curve. This is just an example. You can do really anything you want. It might take some special coding and a little bit of thinking, but really, as long as you can logic through what sort of math and coding you need to get the look you want, you can do it. So yeah, I hope this was an interesting, helpful introduction to Plotly and just some of the things that you can do with it. We got a little bit into just some basics and looked at some more advanced things from a superficial level, but hope it was interesting. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.